How many of you have heard me tell stories? Son of a gun, the world's improving. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Well, just let me start. My name is Gary Carden. I'm a 91-year-old storyteller. Yeah! I was born in the Silva, North Carolina on January 20th, 1935. Began with an accident. The newspaper made the mistake of listing me in new birth as a girl. Welcome, Gary Carden, the daughter of so-and-so and so forth. I was left with my grandparents, my paternal grandparents. They weren't all that thrilled at having me, I can assure you. They were in their 60s. What are they going to do with a strange kid like me? They said that they always thought I was retarded, and they did. Only they called it bad blood. If you got bad blood back then, there was no hope for you. That meant, love can't save you, education can't save you, nothing can. You've had to lick. So they always said, the young'un we're raising, he's a strange kid. On special nights, when it rained and you could hear it howling on that tin roof out there, ding, 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 he came up there to sleep. I followed him. He didn't like that. And it was, now hush, Carnegie, quit talking. Good Lord. And I was worried about, the place was full of wasps flying all over, like little helicopters. Garnell, never could say my name. Garnell, hush. I woke up and my grandfather was already up and he says, we've got a flash flood, is what we've got. I said, a flash flood? Yeah. He says, look where it's coming from. And I looked and it was coming, there was no water there wasn't a stream. It's coming out of the pasture. Came right down out of the pasture, jumped the road, and come up in the yard and went down the little branch that ran, and it was taking everything away. They went off to rescue the cow and left me on the porch, and I had a great idea. I decided that this was a marvelous chance to find some playmates. So I went in my granny's canning house and I got her mason jars. And I brought them out and I lined them up on the porch, And I got my Blue Horse notebook and I sat down by them and I wrote notes. I said, hello, my name's Gary Neal Carden. I live in Rhodes Cove. I read Superman. I listen to the squeaking door. I drink Pepsi-Cola. Come and play with me. And I rolled that up and put it in that jar and threw that jar out there into the float, and here it went. And I threw away about 30 of my granny's canning jars, But I went out every day and sat on the porch after that, waiting for somebody to come up the hill with one of my jars. Never happened. My granny asked me, you think you could ever find some of my jars to get them back? I said, no, Granny, I don't know where they are. And on life went. Of course, I grew up and became a teacher, and then I got into elder hospitals. I was supposed to tell people about Appalachian culture and how mountain people were. And I always told this story about the mason jars in the flood. And I had a lot of sweet people in the elder hospital. And they went home and wrote me letters, and some of them sent me mason jars.
If you're in the mood, would you tell us about your preaching experience?
Oh, well, okay. The story he asked me about is, sometimes when we were sitting there at night, there was a holiness church on the hill behind me. And that guy was passionate. He was preaching fire, and oh my God, lake of fire, gonna burn forever, all I give. And sometimes I was so bored sitting there, I got up one night and I went up the hill to that church and went in and sat down on the back bench, and this guy was good. There were people crying in there. They were crying because he convinced them that they were going to burn in the lake of fire if they didn't come up right now to the mourner's bench and talk to him. And it inspired me. I was inspired by that preacher. I saw the way he handled that audience. Have half of them crying, all of them looking depressed. I decided I wanted to be a preacher. So I came home and I went in the house and I got the Bible and I got a lamb and I went to the chicken house and we had 150 chickens. And I preached to them chickens. I scared the hell out of them. I told them about barbecues and Colonel Sanders and all the bad things that's waiting for them out there in that lake of fire.
You reckon we need to blow the tannery whistle?
Oh no, really? They used to have an expression in my hometown in Silva. Blow the tannery whistle. And I hadn't ended it. I went around and asked people until they told me how that expression came to be. And you only hear it in Silva, you don't hear it anywhere else. It's in Silva. Why do they say that? The mayor of the town went over to the tannery and says, "You're wasting that whistle." I said, "You just blow it for people to come to work. Why don't you blow it when something important happens in this town? I mean, we had a football game last Friday and we beat Bryson City. Blow the whistle for beating Bryson City." Whoa! I'm not blowing any whistle, but I'll go this far. If anything interesting ever happens in Silva, I'll blow the whistle. And so when people wanted to express total disbelief and amazement, that's what they said. I mean, when my grandfather's sister, who was an old maid in her 60s, married a teenage boy, he thought that was worthwhile. And he told everybody, "Well, blow the tannery whistle." Okay, I guess I'm through now.